All right. Hello, my name's Rafael Gonzalez. You know that. This is my friend Giovanni Franco the G on Twitter. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually the captain of one of my teams that I played on. I haven't played in a while, but we won't go there right now. He's also a player on another one of my leagues. So me and him play quite a bit together, and
that we do.
We tend to be alike in the sense that we like to collect boots. I told you earlier when I did my evoPOWER graphic edition boot review that I would do the evoSPEEDs because I knew that he had them. And what do we got here but the graphic edition of the evoSPEED 1.4?
Those are the 1.3s.
1.3s. There you go. You're right. That's right, because we're going to have a 1.4 later on today. Okay. So like I said in my evoPOWER graphic edition boot review, the cool thing about these is that they're much more graphic, right?
They're way more flashy, that's for sure.
You can almost call these the Dragon Edition because it's all about this Japanese dragon. They go into great detail on Puma about how the dragon even has three
main traits.
Well, 3 tentacles on their little hands and stuff. Not tentacles.
Claws, talons.
Talons. There you go.
Birds.
Right here, and I'll try to get you a better close-up of it, is the symbol for dragon, and you'll also see it inside the instep. Unlike the evoPOWER that I did earlier, the heel has a way cooler dragon scale, because mine was like just looks really.
These like scaly looking things like a little more noticeable on the speeds and on the powers.
Sure. So, but to me, all right, real quick, I'll go over my opinion on the evoSPEEDs. I wouldn't say I'm not a big evoSPEED fan. I'm just not a speed boot fan. And I've said that many times before. I'm a defender primarily, and so wearing speed boots just isn't really my style. For speed boots, for what they are, I like them. I think they do a really good job of kind of really forming to your foot and having enough rigidity to I don't know, give you some good power and flex and stuff. The speed track here, you actually feel, I've always noticed that since I think the original evoSPEEDs. I've always noticed that you feel it. You literally feel the speed track when you like really flex. Yeah. So
you can actually feel it when you're running in stride too, definitely.
Right. I didn't know this, but even the
front has scales. Yeah, I was going to say the whole
scales.
They have a whole scale-like feeling. That's actually an interesting feel when it comes to your first touch with these boots.
Okay, so normally with early editions of the evoSPEEDs, they've almost got like a sheen or a matte finish that is generally really smooth. Not a lot of cushion. These feel a little bit more cushiony.
They're way more comfortable than the first one I got. I got the the neon pink kind of the evoSPEEDs. They felt more synthetic. These are way more comfortable than those the synthetic ones, the pink ones that I got. And when I put my foot in here, because I have a wide foot as well, they actually fit more comfortably. And I actually enjoyed these shoes. For a speed shoe, actually, I'm kind of more critical on speed shoes as well, because I don't like the fact that they are really more built for speed. You know, they're built for being more nimble and agile and less a bit of for comfort. Mm-hmm. But these are actually pretty darn comfortable.
So when I kind of discuss my opinions on speed boots, I kind of say that they feel like blades to me, like almost like roller blades or even ice skates.
Cutting edge,
right? So you're not necessarily unstable. These generally the toe box to me feels stable. The heel is what really gets me on evoSPEEDs. For whatever reason, it's probably just my personal foot. You see this heel cage or this heel cup, I guess they call it. It kind of grips my heel a little low. Like I wish they would have put it up a little bit higher to where it's like maybe up here.
With a bigger foot.
Yeah, and it would have. I mean, it would have stabilized my foot a lot better. In general, I feel like all evoSPEEDs tend to feel like racing shoes. Like you're going to go put on these shoes to go sit in like a Ferrari and drive around a track real fast and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've never really like enjoyed playing with them. But again, it's also because I'm just not a big speed boot fan. With that said, you've played how many games in these pair of boots?
At least well over 25, 30 games. At least, yeah.
And like what kind of fields are you playing in?
Mix. I play in a decent couple turf fields, some choppy fields that are pretty bad. That
Turf as in like AstroTurf, like synthetic?
Synthetic AstroTurf, yeah, like stuff that's like recycled rubber and whatnot. And you name it, I've played in it. And besides maybe actually perfect mowed grass, but yeah, I've played in a bunch of fields that are all different types.
I only laugh because I know exactly where he plays, and it's not fantastic. It's fantastically funny. Is what it is.
It's fantastically hysterical.
Yes, there's some really like choppy fields, and the fact that he hasn't broken his ankles is a impressive feat.
The shoes actually definitely tell that they've been played in for a while, and they still hold up. I keep playing them still.
Is the graphic a distraction to you at all?
Not to me, but maybe to people that are trying to follow the ball, and they just follow that dragon instead.
Is it a distraction to anybody else while you're playing?
A lot of my friends will actually comment about these things, and I find myself to have a little more confidence in them because I think that they're paying attention to something else that's not the ball.
To be honest, I feel like I would be a little bit distracted by these. But with that said, I don't have these. Would you suggest somebody to buy these?
Yeah, I actually loaned these out to a friend for one game, and he already bought a pair.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he loved it the first time, and he's a flashy player, and he plays very quick, and he's very speed based, so it works perfect to him.
Now, because you've gotten several pairs of evoSPEEDs, yes. I know that, you know that. Mm-hmm. Where do these rank? Have they progressively gotten better? Or
yeah, these are definitely progressively gotten way better. Actually, this is like the top evoSPEED model I've had so far.
Now,
the touch is sublime. These scales that they have here, actually, I don't know if they do something about your first touch, but the first touch is actually pretty good. The one thing I'm always critical on is my first touch. And speed shoes don't really have a first touch.
Right.
It's actually a little more harder to acquire.
Shooting? What's it?
Shooting, there is a bit of a tough time to find a sweet spot, but once you find it, it's really not going to go away from you. You can always know where it's at.
That's the one thing I don't like about speed boots is I generally like my laces maybe a little bit to the side.
You want your laces a little more noticeable.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not very technically gifted, so like the fatter of a striking surface I get, the better I feel. So
it's a little more of a finer striking surface. I say finer because once you do find that spot, it makes you look like you're a professional. It's fantastic.
And you feel stable on them, or?
Yeah, I feel stable on them. The only thing is I have a wide mouth of my foot, so after it goes past the heel and into the toes, my feet sometimes, after playing 70 minutes, feel like I'm spilling over. But basically all I do is untie my shoes and tie them again. Basically placing my foot back on the sole again.
Any complaints?
That last comment was the only complaint I had.
All right, so for me, my only real complaint, again, aside from the fact that it's a speed boot, and I probably don't get speed boots, I'm not really one to buy them. Only complaint is the graphic. It's a little too much for me. Like it would have been so sick if they did away with the dragon and kept the scales, kept the clean white look, in my opinion. I don't mind this. This is that tattoo color I was telling you about. Like it doesn't look like the tattoo color for me, but whatever. If they would have just kept the white, the oh gosh, what's it called? This high risk red is what it's called.
High risk red, yes.
And sea pine. This is sea pine is what they call it. That would have been sick to me. This would have been such a sick boot, especially for a speed boot. Regardless, considering how much you play, I'm very impressed with how it's held up. Obviously, you can see a little bit of like the upper and the lower kind of splitting in places, but nothing catastrophic.
Nothing
and considering
massive.
He's played about 30 games.
30 games, a little more probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere around 40 because I play almost every day.
Yeah, so. I'm impressed. And I mean, I also know that you don't like baby your cleats because you don't need to. You play all the time.
I play all the time. I don't baby my cleats.
How many times do you play a week?
6 or 7 times.
There you go. So, I mean, and you can tell, like, there's like places right here where I can tell he's probably, been on concrete or something.
Bingo.
There you go. Like a little piece of it kind of knocked off. I'm impressed. Considering how much they are, if you're into like speed boots, if you're like a forward, if you're a striker who wants that,
someone likes to take the sides. And
sure, I like it. So like big crosses.
These are actually, if you find, like I said, if you find that sweet spot somewhere on the top, like right here, your crosses are actually really nice.
I've always struggled with that with speed boots in general. So you'll have to take his word for him because don't ask me.
The more times you try it, the more times you'll find it.
Fair enough. So I guess there it is. That's evoSPEED 1.3 Graphic Edition, brought to you by Puma. Well, not really. We're not paid by Puma to do these things, unfortunately. If you want to pay us, Puma, please.
Thank you.
That'd be fantastic.
Thank you for the shoes, though, by the way. I appreciate them.
So check them out. Leave any comments below. I'll also actually link to the other evoPOWER Graphic Edition boot, where you can go and kind of compare, contrast, do whatever you want there. And yeah, that's my dog. So it's about that time to see you later.
Take it easy, guys.